Hello.
Welcome. We do have a fourth coming, Sarah. She'll be a little late, but it's fine. We still accept her. Hey, Nia. We got Dreaming Truth author. I'm trying to remember her first name. Why do I want to say Tiffany in my head? I'm probably completely wrong and way off. Hanana. God, I always say Hannah in my head first. I'm like, nope.
It's okay.
And then
you can say Hannah if you want to. It's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Cool Gamer. Yeah, way off. Felicia.
There you go. Well, it did start with an F, so that's good.
I said Tiffany. Like
there was an F in there somewhere. It's fine.
I love your grading scale.
I need to play close enough.
I need to play horseshoes
Sorry,
and Felicia. With you.
Sorry.
All right. Oh, that was great. So I have Laura Nettles, Hanana, and then Zara Hoffman. I did say Hanana, right? Correct? That's correct.
Hananya.
Thank you. You might be correcting me.
We should have done this before we started.
We should have, but we just talked about how no preparation whatsoever, because why not just go off the cuff?
Yeah, no preparation is preparation.
Yeah, because as we discussed, we have no time for shows, movies. I talked about how my YouTube watch list is like 92. Yeah. Nanya was, I feel like I'm saying it different every time.
Okay.
Was talking about how coworkers are like recommending shows. She's like, I got no time. Writing after work is what I do and everything. I'm kind of in the same boat. Actually,
because they're always like, you haven't watched that yet? And I'm like, no. I
got a long list of like movies and stuff that I want to watch. Like I was watching Booksmart. I'm halfway through it. That came out in 2019. I'm just now getting around to watching it.
Mm-hmm. I feel you on that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same. I basically have people being like, why haven't you watched that? And I'm like, that says more about you than it says about me, to be honest. Because that means you have too much time to watch shows.
Across the Spider.
I don't knock anybody who watches stuff. Like because I do it too. Like my writing has gone to the wayside for a bit. But for anybody who was watching Roy get a treat, he had a bath today at the groomers. So got all cleaned up for y'all. My dogs are just existing. There's Stitch.
Really?
And then Lilo is right there. You can barely see her.
Nice.
Oh, God, I'm going to break something. Hopefully on accident. And it's insured or something. Yeah. So, this is the social stream. Welcome to Storytellers Hearth. I am social sprint number 1. So, peeling off the Band-Aid. I plan to run for an hour and a half, max hour 45. So that way everyone has like 15 minutes for bathroom breaks, whatever you need. Grab some food if you're on the East Coast, because it's going to be close to 5. And if I'm on Central Time now, but whatever you need to do, I try to cut 15 minutes before the top of the hour. Then ECB. We got 40 minutes of sprinting, so I figured 2 20-minute sprints is plenty of time. We'll see if I actually get writing done, but I've been doing mass cleaning lately. And yeah, because my parents are coming in today along, and they're bringing my daughter back with them, and they're bringing my nieces with them. So I'm like, we need, before the chaos ensues, I need to know what it looks like to be clean, and then the chaos will ensue. And I'm planning to keep hydrating here. If you've been running since 8 a.m., here's your reminder. Links below, by the way. Still have the fundraiser link down below. I have links to Laura's channels and Hananya's channels and Zara's channel. But I think I'm going to let my co-hosts introduce themselves, because they got stuff on the horizon that they would love to tell you about. They wouldn't love. I told them, if you got something, please tell it, because I want to know. This is my catch up to remind myself of like, oh yeah, I want that from my friend. Like, I got to get the anthology. I got to do this. I got to order the book. And it continues my list of TBR. whether it's watch, to read, to listen, what have you. So, Laura, oh, and you're on my channel, so really quick, short with that. You've already seen me. Done. Laura.
What if it's people that are in the in the Storytellers Hearth Weekend Relay, and they haven't come to your channel before?
It's true.
Yeah, I'll catch them at the end. I like my co-host to go first. Gives me time to be prepared, so that way I don't stumble over my words and be like, "Oh, I totally rehearse this all the time."
Nice. I'm Lauren Nettles. I mostly write horror. I have a book. It's called Tiny Shivers. It is 101 short stories, flashes, and drabbles, from cosmic horror to psychological to gothic to supernatural, sci-fi. They're all in there. Yeah, and I just got
the nightmares.
I just got accepted again into Black Hair Press's. They're gonna post it on their Patreon, and then be in their year 5 collection. But the theme was what's normal at 3 p.m. but creepy at 3 a.m. So I wrote a drabble about an ice cream truck. So,
ice cream trucks freak me out. Like the sound. Like I grew up with them on corners during the summer, and like I love them and they're cool and whatever. But every time I hear one, freaks me out. And
I think it's the child like tunes and stuff, and horror as a whole has always taken
there's always in a horror movie trailer, there's almost always a children's chorus singing a song that's like normally whatever, and then you just like
Freddy's come for you.
I don't like it because like I've seen children choruses perform fine, but the moment it's in a movie trailer, I'm like, oh, this is horror. This is horror.
Yeah, so that's what's coming out.
I love that. Sounds very interesting. You gotta let us know once it comes out.
I just love how you go, I got accepted to this anthology again. Like,
no big deal.
Subtle flex.
I'm pretty sure Laura is like the most published of us all.
It's my 30th acceptance.
Yeah, she's more published than us all. I'll be right back. My food arrived.
Probably like combination of us all. Still, she outdoes us.
Yeah. Like Zara's been published, and actually we could count when Zara gets back. We could count her publishing company and what they're publishing as well. But I think Laura still beats us.
I was gonna say probably.
So. No, I've only published 7 books so far, and then I haven't published anything under my publishing company yet. Like, I mean, things are up for pre-order, so you can maybe like count those as being like, oh yeah, those are whatever, but they're not in readers' hands yet. So I would say I only have the 7 of my own, and
which I hope you have handy to hold.
I do. Okay. And I know that like 7 is not 0, and I normally think like, oh, I haven't published much, and then people are like, what are you talking about? And I just think about the 50 story ideas I haven't finished.
Right.
But everyone else is like, you have 7 in your hand, and I'm like, yeah, I guess that's true.
So I guess we'll hot potato a little bit. And
I'm so
Sarah, we're already got the books up, so let's just go into your well rehearsed spiel.
And then we'll go back to chaos with us.
Yes, on the spot.
So I am Zara Hoffman. I'm the self-published author of 7 books, a young adult paranormal romance trilogy. They're color-coded. And a new adult sci-fi romance trilogy, which Natalie alpha read, almost said beta read. That's not accurate. And those are here. Sorry. And then my latest book is a standalone, and it's a young adult dystopian romance that Natalie also alpha read. And this like started.
I get to read for free. It's not really a big stretch for me.
It started in 2015. I started writing this in 2015, and it took forever. But I'm very happy with it.
As I've said, alpha reading and beta reading is like being allowed to talk through the movie.
Yeah. I mean, it really is. And also that one was the most fun because you and Regina Duke and Chronoyami were trying to guess what was happening, and I was like, I can't say whether or not
Well,
you're right or
what
wrong.
I like with that is that you're trying to keep the mystery, and so I think it's important for an alpha or beta reader to
Oh,
tell
it was
you,
so
this is
important.
right. This is what I'm thinking right now. So that way, you know, if you got the right red herring, or if you know maybe the storyline's going somewhere that you were not intending. You're like, that person's not evil at all. Oh my god, whoops.
But it was funny because some of you were like, "Oh, this is so what's going to happen?" And
Yeah. We were
especially
so
one where
confident.
she's walking down a hall at one point, and all the alpha readers were like, she's about to get an attempt on her. And I was like, no, she's just eavesdropping. Like, that's not where the danger is. But then with the Stellar Blood trilogy, at one point I messaged everyone. I was like, okay, so I could either kill this person and have this be the fallout, or do I kill this person and this be the fallout? And which one will hurt my main character more? And they were like, this one. And I was like, cool. I didn't have a feeling either way. One was going to die. Could have been extra mean and killed both, but I didn't.
Well, thank you for holding back. Unlike some other authors, I'm sure. You at least ask before going, yeah, they all die.
Well, I mean, my current work in progress is a spy thriller, and the body count in that is high. And that doesn't even count, like, you know, the fact that hundreds of demons died in my debut novel.
So you've talked about yourself. Do you want to talk about your publishing company real quick? I don't have it linked. I just have your all your YouTubes linked below.
That's fine.
Actually, I should link your YouTube as your publishing YouTube as well. I'll pull that down.
I mean, that would be appreciated. But I'm also the founder of Inimitable Books, a small publishing company, which is dedicated to uplifting marginalized voices without pigeonholing authors into writing about their trauma of being diverse. And our first book comes out October 3rd. Our second book comes out December 5th. Our third book comes out January 2nd. And I'm constantly working, which is why I'm not really writing my own stuff anymore. It'll happen eventually. I'm not worried. I don't resent my company at all. I love my company. So yeah, that's me. Sorry for skipping you.
No, that's all good. Don't worry about it. I'm Hananya. So hi. My full name and channel name and everything is Hananya Leclerc. If you want to find me there, there's a link down below apparently, so you can go there. And I have a short story coming out in an anthology in 2 weeks' time, so that's exciting. Which is the Stitching Collection, which you might have heard of if you've been around AuthorTube a lot, then you might have seen it pop up. And then other than that, I just write stories and I talk about it on my channel twice a week.
I just pasted the link in the chat that you sent me. What is that link again? That's your website.
Yeah, that's the pre-order on my personal website.
Perfect.
Yeah.
For the anthology.
Anthology. Yeah. So that's very exciting. And I also have a podcast if anyone's interested in watching that. It's called The 3 Writing Amigas and can be found on YouTube or anywhere you listen to podcasts too. So that's a little bit about me.
And so what do y'all talk about on that?
We basically talk about our writing
matter?
journeys. We have basically been talking about character. The last episode was about the main character of one of the ladies. So we're talking about our books that we're currently writing and also the books that connected us together because we met through a workshop, and that's how we kind of just started talking, and we talk about our books, found out more about our books, and talk about how we've done things, share some tips and tricks, and just take you along for the ride. So just 3 friends hanging out basically.
That's usually the best, which, by the way, Zara also does a podcast.
I have one too.
More like I did a podcast. It's on hiatus indefinitely.
Oh,
wow. Well, because I'm the one who was editing the podcast episodes,
and now it's
Billy Wright, who is the co-creator. Actually, it was her idea. She's the one who writes most of this ideas down and things like. It's not a knock against her, but she was like, I don't know how to do it. I was like, I'll do it, but it takes time, which I now devote to the publishing company of which she's one of the authors. So like,
So she
she
appreciates
benefits from me not editing the podcast. And also, she has a lot of stuff happening with like her personal life of moving states and things like that. So we were like, well, we'll just wait until things.
She's got a family. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in that boat too of moving states. So now I'm in the South and it doesn't rain. I mean, it doesn't snow, but we lost power Friday. Yeah. And there's actually people who still don't have power, and it said that they'll possibly get power by the 24th, and today's the 17th. So I'm charging my portable chargers, and so I can, because my uncle actually lives like 30 minutes away, and I'm like, I can't do much, but here you go, because I know they got water and everything, but it works. But either way. I'm Natalie Locke. My website is natalielockeBooks.com. Actually, I would say it's a preemptive name because I don't have anything published yet. So, but if I were to name it right now, it'd be Natalie Locke Manuscripts, and or drafts, and doesn't really fit well. But I have 2 kids. I got a full-time job, and I also enjoy writing. Writing has gone to the wayside because I was moving, but today I plan to at least edit some of the flashes that I wrote, which was I wrote 250 flash fictions, so 1,000 words or less, over a year and 2 months. And I was able to do that. Now I'm slowly going back to editing them, and I'm trying in 2023 to edit 100 of those flashes, which it does go faster, but at the same time, I kind of like to go back and watch the videos of me writing the stories so I can see what I thought needed to be worked on in that moment versus what I think need to be worked on now. Yeah, that's me. Flash Fiction Live will be coming back. Chandra Arthur and myself deal where we try to pull inspiration from any part of life. I mean, whether it's your dreams, digging through your junk drawer, or people watching or something, like a great moment. And actually have an anecdote story that can probably kick off our first discussion of like serendipitous moments. So I'll explain that in a little bit. But the big thing is editing stories. We edit each other's stories live on air so people can see it, and it's just, and we even get input from chat, and so it's just a collaborative effort, really, and everyone kind of exercising either the inspiration muscle or the editing muscle, because I feel like those are sometimes the hardest. It works. But yeah, and you're on my channel. So serendipitous moment. Talking about getting inspiration from life. I need to write this. And I guess because I say it now, someone can probably write it faster than me and sooner. I just got back from Alaskan cruise, and my son was with me, and we're heading back to our room. Got in the elevator, and there was 2 gentlemen in the elevator. And I'm trying to, with the elevator, with all the numbers, that's my son's 5. So I'm trying to teach him his numbers. And I'm like, all right, we need to go to 12. And I go like 9, 10. And I pause hoping, and then I go 11, and I pause hoping he'll say 12 next. No, he pressed 11. And the guys,
I had a feeling.
Yeah, the guys were going to 14. So we were already interrupting the trip for them, but they laughed it off and clicked 12, and they're like, well, I guess we'll go to 11. Nice little pause. And we get to 11. And there's this woman there with her back to us. Her hair's down. It's kind of frizzy and such. And she's at least dressed in like a shirt and pants, but she has no shoes on. And she's kind of looking like John Travolta in Pulp Fiction, like what's going on, but we can only see her back. Then one of the guys goes, Kathy? She turns around and goes, I got locked out of my room. So my son,
you stopped.
My son saved the day by just happenstance of clicking a number and preventing these guys from going to 14 and actually getting off at 11 to save their friend. So cute little moment. And I was just like, it was so interesting. I was like, immediately I thought this is great moment for TV or story or something. to help like move things along and have an external moment, because like from whose point of view would that be? Kathy, who is lost, or the Spencer, can you bring it down a few notches? Thank you. Okay, I will handle that later. Appreciate it.
I think one of the guys, because whenever you see a kid enter an elevator, it's not quite the same as seeing a kid enter an airplane, but you're always like, something's going to happen, right?
Yeah, like you're like, oh God, and yeah. Though it was funny because when we were leaving the ship, we had to take the elevator, and we ended up having to go down because every single elevator we got on, what that appeared to us was packed. So we went down as far as we could. They wouldn't let you take the stairs the whole way, which kind of pissed me off. And then, but they, I ended up getting on this elevator with a bunch of people. It's like a family of 14 that cruises like every few years. And they got people all over the US, like California, Montana, Florida, Mississippi. And so we get on the elevator and I just fit in with them. And I make a joke and I was like, okay, let's all of us hug the front of the elevator so we don't get more people in here. But then there was this family who had a baby that was crying, and we welcomed them on. And then we were like, all right, baby, keep crying every time the door opens. Keep it going. And so we were finally able to get in line, but it took us 2 hours to get off that boat. It was very poorly done, in my opinion, but that's beside the point. But either way, the serendipitous moment was great, and I loved it. And I thought it was great. And again, life is stranger than fiction. Like, it's just like a perfect moment there. And I hope I'm able to incorporate it into a story at some point.
Nice.
Do y'all have any stories like that where you were like, I have to include this?
Not like that. I went on a ghost tour walk of Toronto just to gather horror stories about the area. So I was the weirdo with my notes app taking notes as they were doing the spiels. So I've done research that way for stories, for things to incorporate. So that was really fun.
I think for me, I don't really have like moments like that, but I at work talk a lot with my colleagues about like dating stories and stuff. Just because you can, you know? And there are so many good dating stories that we're like, we should just collect them all into one book because these are like crazy sometimes.
Like a list of first dates, like the good and the bad.
Well, that could be like the table of contents is like a headline for the date or whatever, or like what it should have been. And then like each vignette or whatever is how it wound up.
Yeah, exactly. My colleague was also, we can categorize them, right? Kind of like this guy, or like, you know, she had one that was like, I don't even remember. It was like conditioner guy. So like hair conditioner guy, something like that. And I was like, okay, I gotta know this story now. That's so funny.
That's really funny.
But yeah, it was, there's so many good stories. So we were thinking about just collecting it all into a book. But yeah.
I don't know that I have like any stories that like should really be written down. Apparently as a kid, my mom was, when I was like a very little kid, my mom was holding me in her arms and we were on an elevator, and Baryshnikov, who is like a very famous dancer and choreographer, but like very small man, got on the elevator, and I was at the stage of where I was saying tiny this, tiny blank, tiny whatever. And my mom like closes her eyes in anticipation of me eventually saying tiny man. And she was like probably ready to die. I mean, he didn't say anything mean apparently, but I bet he wasn't happy either.
Yeah, kids are brutal. Like no filter.
I mean, at least it was true. I mean, it's not like I you know, when a kid like goes up and just decides to say like you're ugly, and you're like, well,
yeah.
Okay, we watched a lot of Star Wars growing up, and my brother didn't know the name Stormtrooper, so it was always white bad guy. It's like, dang it, no!
Colonialism.
Wow.
But then Vader was a black bad guy, so it's like, dang it, no! I can't go in public with you.
Oh wow.
Oh, I appreciate you staying for the stream. We'll try to help you with inspiration as much as we can, or at least maybe give you a break. Because sometimes, God, this happened to me. Story when I was 10 years old. I was playing the first Harry Potter game, and it was the scene where you're it was a computer game. And you're in Quidditch, and you gotta go through the rings in the fast time and stuff like that. Now, time and time again, I just couldn't get it. I would get so close and time would run out, or I'd miss it, or I just, I mean, I became that kid. I was like, no, getting angry, mad and stuff. And my mother, she just got sick of it. She's like, step away from it for 10 minutes. Otherwise you're going to be banned from it. Like, just back away. Sure enough, 10 minutes later, I beat it on the first try. I was like, I didn't want to tell Mom she's right, but but it just proved to me that sometimes you just got to step away. And I think that's another thing that I've learned with my to-do list. I mean, everyone has their goals that they want to do, but I've also set a fun to-do list at the same time, or something.
Nice.
And by fun, it might be something that really the ending is calming, like cleaning. I mean, not like cleaning in the moment, but I know the end result is going to make me feel better, make me feel accomplished. So I try to do my happy to-do list with my must to-do list. And I call it like productivity breaks, where I switch to the happy to-do list.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah. Something that's worked for me.
Yeah. Might be something I'm going to try out. I did do like kind of that break stuff where I was like, okay, well, I'm going to focus on writing and then I'll do like a little bit of chores around the house and stuff. I've done that. But in general, just like a happy to-do list, even if it's like, oh, watch this video or like watch this show of the series this week, might be a good one to have like as a to-do list. See, inspiration already sparked.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Sometimes I just think about like, oh, I haven't listened to music in a while. And so I'll just hit shuffle on my phone or whatever. And normally there will be like a song and with the lyric. And I'm like, okay, like that's going to have me thinking about one of my stories. And I like back burner again, but at the very least, it's something for inspiration.
There are playlist videos on YouTube where they'll be like, these are all like the witchy songs or like the fall vibe songs and stuff. And so I usually assign one of those to a story. And so even when I'm walking around, I'll have that going and be like,
yeah, I did that even when I was brainstorming, not even writing, like you said, just walking around. I did that with Synthwave for my parallel universe, multiverse story that I was working on. And
when are you returning to that? Because I want to read that.
Well, it's the initial things done. It's complete, but at the same time, I'm wondering if I need to do more. But I think I need like a round of beta readers or something. But like, it's as whole as it can be. It would just, if someone wants to take a huge crack at it, like they start reading and they go, oh no, this needs to change, this needs to change, I need to fix a few things. And also I need to know my target audience, because there's a situation that happens at the beginning that is triggering, and I need to make it less graphic.
Well, from what you told me, it was like for an adult audience. So, I mean, yes, have a trigger warning, but I don't think you necessarily need to tone it down.
Yeah, and I don't want to give away. It's one of these things where it's a switcheroo. At the beginning, you think it's this, but actually later you find out it's not.
Okay.
So, yeah, hopefully I don't give too much away. Not that anyone's going to be like,
remember that one time when Natalie talked about the story?
June, here's the book.
You're taking notes.
Yeah. Though, oh my gosh, I was scrolling through the internet like I do when I'm procrastinating, and a short video came up, and it was talking about Taylor Swift in 2019 or 2020, at some point earlier, where after Lover came out, and she was like, yeah, this album, but she almost let the title Midnights slip out when she said it. And I was like, no one caught this at the moment, but now that Midnights is out, they're finding this moment of her being on stage going, I know this album, with lover or something, like, but she actually says enough to where you're like, I know what she was going to do. It's difficult, and I'm sure, Sarah, you find yourself like in that path, especially with publishing. Like you're trying to tease what you can, but at the same time, you gotta. Like,
I think it's harder for my authors because they're like, "Oh my god, I want to talk about it now," and I was like, "Yes, but if you talk about it too soon, then that messes up the promotional window for like the books coming out before you." And basically, as the publisher, I need all the books to do well, so like this can keep going. But they're just like sitting on their hands being like, I really want to like release the title of my book or the cover or whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, the titles are all out now because of the publishers marketplace announcements that they all knocked it out of the park in Canva, where like they did a background for each of them. And I was like, proud of you all. But now it's like, they're all messaging me. They're like, when's my cover available? I was like, well, I have it set for this. And they're like, oh my God. And I'm like, I know, I stare at it on my phone and I'm very excited for you, but I can't say that yet.
I mean, because there's something to it. You know, and I think that brings us to another point that we can probably all talk about. So we're talking about having excitement and hype for your story. What about when you're not excited? Like for me with my artwork, there's a moment where I'm working on artwork and then I just get numb to it. I don't know if it's beautiful. I don't know if it's good. I don't even know if it's bad. Like I'm just numb. Have y'all ever gotten to that with your stories? Like I feel like there's the hatred stage that we all go and be like, I'm crap. This is crap. It's all crap. But then is there a stage where you're like, I've read it 50 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're all just nodding, like
Moment of silence to embellish there. I
just get to the point where I don't want to read it again, but I need to so I can do the next draft. And it's like I just don't want to because I feel like it's going to be cringe, and I don't want to do that to myself.
So what do y'all do to try to get past it? Is it?
I waited out.
Read that out to me.
Oh, I mean that's smart. I waited out. If I'm thinking about like, okay, I'm too overexposed to this, like maybe I've been chipping away at it for so long or just editing a ton or something about the project where it's like that's all I've been thinking about and I'm burning myself out on the project, I'll be like, okay, well I obviously don't want to read it again now. And not because I hate the story, but at this point I'm just like, I don't even know that I have feelings about the story. I just want it done. And that would rush me to the end and maybe leave mistakes behind. So what I'm like, okay, I'm going to focus on something else. Is I just wait until the feeling of apathy goes away, until I start to be a little bit more excited again, or a deadline where it's like, okay, you no longer feel apathy, which means it needs to go back on like the front burner. You have to work on it.
Yeah, I feel the same way, kind of as you explained, Sarah, where I would feel like no emotion toward it, and then I'll be like, maybe I'll just work on something else that does give me excitement for now, and then I'll return to it later.
To-do list.
Yeah. But I don't know, like a very specific story for me comes to mind, which has been in the making for a really long time, but I've stepped away from that probably for like 6 months, just because I fell so out of love with it, and I felt so frustrated and felt like I didn't know how to make it better, basically. And then I got back into it in April, and I feel better. It's not like I'm like in love with it, because now I'm at the stage of like, I hate everything I wrote. I'm gonna have to rewrite everything. But you know, it's fine. I will see parts that I can keep, and it's okay. So now I'm just trying to push through, because I know that I'm gonna, you know, make it better. And I also feel like if I don't push through now, I'll probably never finish it. So that's where I'm at with that one.
So I have stories that I start and then get distracted by something else to do sooner or something like that. And so I set it aside and then never get back to it. So a year or so ago, I sat down and went through all of my documents, found all of my partially done stories, wrote them all out, and went down the list finishing them. So that was really cool. One of the stories I've been stuck on for 2 years, but Because
Like it was just a steamroll. I have to do this, or was it a I'm going to do this, and then once you started, you were like, this is fun. Yes, yes, and this and this.
It was more of a like cleaning house kind of thing. So it was nice to get things done, so that they weren't weighing on me anymore in the back of my mind. Like, yeah.
So afterwards, you
done.
felt light and just
Yeah.
Nice.
How many were there? That is my question.
Like 15.
Okay.
I have my list in Notion, but the thing is that mine are all novels.
Yeah.
I can't just
a little
be like,
harder.
I'm going to bang them out. I can't do that.
NaNoWriMo every month.
I don't even
what
win NaNoWriMo half the time.
What is
I'm
it? The people who say they try to do a novel in 24 hours? Come on, Zara. You could do 52 novels and then have 6 by doing one a week for 24 hours and then spend the rest of the week recovering.
Man, I was saying on my stream at 11 this morning that and I learned this thanks to Milwordy, my brain literally can't handle more than writing 2,000 words in a day. And it'll just, it's not only fiction. It'll also be like, oh, if I wrote for a school paper that day, or if I wrote work emails or something, my brain's like, we hit our limit. I'm like, this is pathetic. This isn't even a full chapter most of the time, because I never had a day where I could just write. There was always something else to do as well. So no, I don't think 24-hour novel will ever be me.
I can't even do 10K days either. Like
I've done a 9.5K day, but I didn't even know about 10Ks then. So
there was a 10K day that Keelan was doing, and I actually did get 5,000 words that one day, and it was one time only. And I think it was because like I hadn't written for 3 months, but I had the outline perfectly ready to go.
Outlines help.
If I was in an alternate universe, or like I hadn't started the publishing company yet, if I like did a year-long experiment of write a draft of each book a week in the year, like that could be something. But now that is impossible with my time.
It's really knowing your limitations and what you can do, and you're not going to know until you explore. And I honestly feel like even if you're not going for Milwordy, just create a tracker of how you're doing. And it's not to compare yourself to others. It's so you can see what you're doing. And you could even put an emotion next to, I wrote 1,000 words, but I thought they sucked. Or I wrote 3,000. It was great, you know? Mm-hmm. And if you got that variance of what work you're in and how it associates with your emotions, I feel like that's really helpful for self-awareness if you're not there yet. But it's, I can tell you, the closest I got was doing Flash Fiction February or Camp Flash in July, where I'm doing a Flash Fiction a day, and it's only 1,000 words, but it was rough. Yes,
that's like a marathon, but if you're not used to it, it feels like a sprint every day rather than and that's exhausting. I think.
Especially the way I write, because I want it like as complete as possible. Where I don't have brackets for like do research. No, I'm getting it done.
I'm the same way too. My brain doesn't like brackets. I might leave a comment to myself of like, this isn't the best way that you can do this, and you will figure that out later. But I can't leave blanks for me to fill in later unless I come back later and I'm like, oh, I want to do this differently.
Mm-hmm. That is so funny. I leave brackets all the time, and I've done so many 10K days.
I've done brackets, I think once or twice, but it was like I was not. I had a plot in my mind for the scene, and I was like, I'll figure this part out later. I gotta get this scene out.
I'm also not someone who can write out of order, and even though like it's such a minor thing. Mm-hmm. I'm an underwriter. So if I've written something, it always comes back around later. Like there's Chekhov's gun, but for me, it's like basically everything is Chekhov's gun. So if I'm like, oh, I'll just skip this part. I'm like, but now what do I need to incorporate when it's going forward so that when it comes back again, like the breadcrumbs are there.
So
So
I'm gonna get into it.
Yeah,
it's my brain.
I get that.
Do y'all think sprints help? Whether you're hosting a sprint, or like you just jump on someone's, and not even in chat. Please stop, buddy. In chat, or you think sprints help. I think it's like a group mentality of like
they motivate me to be productive. Like for me, I will wake up every day and I'm like, here's my completely unreasonable to-do list, and one day maybe I'll be nice to myself and not write down something crazy, but it's like, oh, I'll get to it and I'll work on stuff. But when there's a sprint going, it's like, okay, it's no longer I'll work on it at some point today. It's like you might as well start it now, even if you don't finish the task in one sprint, or you work on multiple things during the sprint. At least you now have things started, and it's not just staring at your to-do list where nothing has been done at all.
Yeah, I feel like for me, the sprints help in a way of if I'm not motivated to do anything, then I tend to use sprints. But if I'm like so in the zone, I sometimes turn the live streams off because then I don't want the talking in between, which sounds so mean. But like if I'm in the zone, I just kind of want to keep going. I don't want to get distracted.
I'll write throughout a break if I'm in the zone.
Oh, me too.
And I don't know, to me, if I'm in the zone enough, hearing talking won't pull me out of it. But if I'm barely in the zone, then if I hear any talking, I'll just get, okay, I'll just do the break, I'll do the chatting, continue making friends or feeding friendships, and then I'll go back when they do another sprint.
See, when I'm on sprints, I'm not in it to be super productive, because if I wanted to be super productive, I'd go to the library and be by myself and just head in the books for hours. I do it to be social and have fun and just be part of the community. So
yeah, exactly.
I get some stuff done, but it's not like intense productivity mode. So yeah.
And my beautiful segue into sprints.
I know. I was thinking that. I used to be able to do just like deep work without anything. But I don't know. When I entered undergrad, ADHD symptoms just became like the attention deficit part started appearing in me that had never happened before. And I haven't, like, I'm on medicine now and it's helpful and I'm good, but I rarely hit the hyper focus on my own anymore. It's like I at the very least need the sprints to help me get focused. And then if I work through breaks later on, then that's one thing.
Well, Spencer wants mac and cheese.
Nice.
Yeah. So I got it. That's what is going to eat up 3.5 minutes of my sprint. We'll see what else I can get done at the same time. All right. I hope everybody's productive, whether it's writing, self-care, planning sprints are great. Brainstorming sprints.
I will help you get water.
Okay. You can help me get water in there. But hopefully you don't have a monkey on your back that's preventing you, metaphorically or literally.
You got this.
Yes, I got a necklace on. Okay. We're going to get going. All right.
I want to turn off your
We're not turning off. Well, I guess we'll turn off from here. All right, fine. 3, 2, 1, and then 2, 1 again. 20-minute sprint. Let's go. We are back. I'm multitasking. So the amount of writing I got done was 0. But I did eat. Yeah, I ended up. I got grapes. Black grapes are my new favorite, which is good. I mean, it's healthy. I could have done worse, but then I got a Coke Zero. Could have done worse again, and I could have done worse by getting more than one. I only got one.
Okay. Look
So,
at you.
I'm reining myself back.
That's good.
Yeah. Go ahead and
I
play.
finished putting my groceries away. I ate some Chinese food, and I started chowing down on my pretzel. So,
Nice.
yeah.
I took a phone call. So there you go. And got more water. So this is your reminder to hydrate.
I love how that happens. This is why group hangout is like perfect.
Right?
Appreciate the background, love, Eva. This is just like my happy background. For anybody who can't tell, it's a sunset. I have no clue how to operate this thing. Just that.
Do you have a license?
I have no clue. Whoa, God, no. Who wants that? No. Yeah, we're just going to stick with this. Cool. All right. But, nice little background. What else? Oh. Guess who could have spent that sprint time grabbing lunch instead of reading 6 or 7 news articles about Donald Trump?
Well,
No clue who that is.
it's probably why they had to read 6 or 7 articles to find out.
Have you seen? Oh my gosh! Somebody posted a video about like the famous urinals in New Zealand, and there's one of a certain person's face,
Oh my
and
goodness.
it says something when it's used.
Oh, wow.
It's like that was a choice. Okay.
Like
Okay.
I knew about like urinal mats or something like that
Nope.
can go in for aim. I've heard of those.
Full wall display face.
Oh,
Oh dear
Oh.
Lord.
oh. I'm thinking, like, I'm trying to think of this. I feel like we at work had one. But it was a men's, obviously, so I haven't seen it.
I'll be honest, I've gotten curious sometimes and just like open the door to the men so they'll look in and be like, is it really as bad as they say?
I mean, when you're going to theater in New York, a lot of the theaters are older, and so they have more women's bathrooms than men's bathrooms. But the line for the women's is like it takes the entire intermission to be able to go in if you're not like out of your seat the moment the intermission, like the end of the song,
Right.
before the intermission starts. Like if you're not leaving in the dark to start your intermission, you're not gonna get to go to the bathroom essentially. So when I was younger, there were a few times my mom was like, screw this. And we just like went into the men's bathroom to like
Yeah.
whatever.
Fair.
And the thing is that guys who go to the theater expect this. So they just like look at you and they're like, okay, we're not
Okay, cool.
we're not gonna be creepy about like looking at a woman in like in
Yeah.
this space with like her daughter, but it's like you just know.
There's I was about to say cubicles. It's not cubicles. Stalls. There we
Yeah.
go. There's
Yeah.
stalls. Like it's fine. I've gone in Europe. I've gone to co-ed bathrooms.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine.
Yeah. I just looked it up just to be sure, but yeah, we used to have Amy Winehouse mouth for the men at work. They've changed it, but that's what we used to have.
Wow.
Yeah. So there you go.
I love this. I wish more people talked about this. Best part about being a trans girl, such cleaner bathrooms.
I mean, there are times though where like I'm in a restaurant and they've switched over to just gender neutral bathrooms and now they're all dirty and I'm like, this was not what was supposed to happen.
No. Like,
Yeah.
but the women's bathrooms I've been in, like at work, I don't know who it is, bless this person, but they got like a little care package with stuff that you may need, smell good stuff. It always smells good in there.
Okay.
I support you. Like, I kind of want to put some money in an envelope, be like, whatever you need, honey.
Just to
I mean, that's
resupply.
nice.
Yeah.
That's very nice. Yeah.
Because I'm sure there's not budget in the office's money. Like, this is probably someone he's like, I'm taking it upon myself. I'm not dealing with this, and it makes them happy.
Probably.
Yeah.
So we're talking about spaces. Let's touch on what your workspace needs to be like for productivity. Like, it exists. I just need a chair, and
Is
I'll-
there a workspace?
You are not seeing my table. That's not.
Mine's a mess too. But I also have my work computer like shoved off to the side, and my work keyboard and mouse over there. I got a dual monitor mount, and so the right side is my monitor from work that's tied to the work computer, and then I got a TV that's tied to my personal computer as like my second monitor. And then I also got just recently this bad boy from Amazon to hold stuff, and then that little bookcase thing is like great. It slides open further.
Okay.
I don't know. It's more storage and stuff, and I'm all here for it.
Yeah.
And then the armoire right here is actually completely empty. So guess what's gonna happen?
Books.
Yeah, it's gonna be my space.
Nice.
You just put it.
Put what?
I have an
You
L-shaped
just
desk
so
from Amazon that was like $200, and it looks super cheap, but it has a crazy amount of shelf space on it. And then
Okay.
I just have my like a little stand on my laptop, so I don't have to be like crouching over a second monitor. And then I always need my bullet journal next to me, and that's basically
Nice.
it.
I work on my kitchen table.
Nice.
Hey, that works.
Yeah.
I was working on the dining room table for a little bit.
It's just me, so
Yeah.
whatever.
I want to get, this is like my dream space. First off, my dream space would be to actually have a designated office room, but that's probably not going to happen for many years. But to get a bigger desk, which I got to do some measurements to find out if I can, to get a bigger desk. God, I hate those. I got a notification. It's like, I'm looking for this place on Cleverly Road. Is this Kevin? Do you own this property? No. Stop trying to like get me. Either way. But I want a bigger desk. But I want those desks that like can be raised and lowered. But I don't want like the very desk that you set on your desk. I want the whole desk to move because I get nervous with cords and stuff like that. And then I want one of those little walking pads that goes underneath. So that way I could like just all day when I'm here, especially because how hot it is here, I don't want to walk outside, but I could totally hit 10,000 steps just like
Casually doing it while working. Yeah. I got that. I actually have one of those desks that you press a button and it just raises up.
Nice.
So yeah, I have like a small desk. It's not too big. It fits 2 monitors on top, and that's basically like the width of it. And I have my work laptop, and then currently my work laptop is usually always closed because it has one of those like docks, so I don't have to have it open necessarily, and I have an external camera for meetings and stuff. So I have my work laptop, and then I put my personal laptop on top of that. So it's literally just a stack of laptops. So that's usually how I do it. And my personal laptop doesn't connect to both screens, so it sits in front of one screen if I'm using my personal laptop. And then connect to this one, and my work laptop connects to both. So
Do you feel like you need more than one screen?
sometimes. This is like my weird thing. For work, I feel like yes. For personal stuff, if I'm like working on my writing, I can also just do it just on my laptop screen, because sometimes that keeps me more in the zone and not distracted with extra screen space, because sometimes I can't. Like that's just like too much like other screen that I'll get distracted super fast. And I do like if I'm editing my YouTube videos, I'll always do it usually on the tiny screen, like my laptop screen, just because I feel like I can focus. And it just makes more sense to do it on like my keyboard from my laptop instead of doing it from an external keyboard. I don't know. Just makes more sense to me. But yeah, like getting in the zone and focusing sometimes is better just on a laptop screen than having more screen, because that is just distracting.
It depends on what it is for me, because when I was editing podcast episodes, it was always helpful to do it on a bigger screen just so I could see the sound waves better. Like even if I zoomed in and stuff, doing it on a bigger screen allowed me to zoom in more. And then if I'm formatting a novel, I tend to like to do the double monitor so that I can have the Scrivener up on one and the InDesign file up on another without having to constantly switch and like typing something. Oh, I was in the wrong document. Now I have to undo it. It's like I can literally see which window is selected. But if I'm editing a book, like not formatting, but editing a book, it's just on here.
One screen. Yeah.
To keep me focused. Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. It depends on what you're doing. I feel like if I'm like researching stuff on the side, then I'd run like my Scrivener file and then like my tab that I'm going to research in and a different screen. So that I don't have to keep like going between programs. But if I'm just trying to do one specific task, I don't like to have multiple screens open necessarily.
I get that. For work, I have to have two screens. But when I got my work computer open, I have my personal computer clamshell, but using the TV for the personal computer. So it's like one screen for that. But I'm usually like doing sprints in the background while I work or something. Like if someone's live, I'll just keep them up and everything. And that helps me.
Chrome has this thing that lets you pop out a video.
Yes.
And so that's what I'll do if I'm on my laptop and I like want to watch Netflix or I want to watch a live stream.
It's just too tiny for me because I did that for I think it was Bridgerton or something. I'm like, wait, what was that look? I can't quite tell.
Yeah, so I only do that for episodes that I've already seen. So like if I'm watching a show or an episode for the first time, I'll just be like, okay, this is an actual break. I'm not going to be working on anything. I'm just going to be staring at my screen. I rarely remember that I have this and could watch Netflix on there and it would be a bigger screen and a better experience. But normally like I'll just watch it on my laptop. And then if I'm like, oh no, I kind of feel like Bridgerton again, but like I need to work. So then I'll just pop it out and I'll be like listening, not really looking, but when I want to look, I can.
Yes, Richard. Yes.
Yes, it works for you.
I do that as well.
I don't remember if it works on Disney Plus. It works on.
I haven't tried.
Disney
it works on
Plus.
Hulu. It works on Paramount Plus.
Try Chrome because, like,
it's in Chrome, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's a thing built into Chrome that lets you pop it out. But there used to be
some might not do it.
External. What's the word? Extension that I had attached to Safari that did the same thing before I basically switched over to Chrome for all my computer internet browsing. And there were some sites that it wouldn't work on. But I think the Chrome one works on everything.
Yeah, which is very nice. I do the same thing with like, even if it's just like one of those like reality TV things that I don't really have to pay attention to, but I like having something on in the background, I'll do that.
So for background space, y'all are fine with something you've seen before. We talked about music playing.
I can't do music playing.
What, even if it's no?
If it's no whatever,
words,
I'll be
lyrics.
paying attention to the chord progressions and oh, this repeats and this is cool or this is different. It's very. I used to not, and then I don't know what happened. My brain used to just be like, oh, it can't be lyrics. And now my brain is like, not even if it's an instrumental cover of a song that you know the lyrics, so your brain is going to be singing the lyrics as if there were. Even if it's just something else, my brain is like, oh yeah, I really like that. I was like, this is not what you should be focusing on right now.
So yeah, I don't watch things. I can't have like an episode of something going on, but I usually have two or three audios going at the same time. So I'll have rain and then I'll have music and sometimes ASMR all at the same time.
Okay.
I'll do typing sounds because Richard's asking that. That's why I built it into my timers.
Right.
But
Yes. Which, I mean, if anybody wants it, we can do one of those for sounds. Laura also has music in the background for some of her timers, which I love. And yeah. And I wish, like, both are pretty timers, but usually when I'm putting a timer on, I'm busy. I can't just look at the timer.
well,
Fair.
I like the first, I don't know, 5 minutes or whatever that you had uploaded the pet timer. I watched it and I was like, I'm never going to be able to look at this thing again if I'm ever going to try and use it for actual productivity, because it just won't happen. There's too much
Right.
cuteness on screen. So it's a lovely timer. I don't use it for anything aside from I need a really nice hit of serotonin. And my dog is like not currently with me, so I'll just watch everyone else's pets. And my dog is in there as well. So.
Yeah. I just have sunset or thunderstorm timers. It's ones that I have.
I love thunderstorm timers. I don't know why I love that.
I love thunderstorms outside.
Yeah, it was a
Want to know a fun
thunderstorm on
fact?
it. I woke up at 3 a.m. Well, Alex woke me up at 3 a.m. and said, "Hey, Spencer's crying." So then I went to grab Spencer
Right.
and I brought him back to our bed. Which case he looked at me and I was, Alex looked at me and I was like, "Man, you didn't want me to bring him back. You could have gone," because we had no electricity. So Spencer had his little nightlight Marshall pillow pet thing turned on and was crying, and I was like, "Come on, let's just go." But thunderstorms was great.
When I was younger,
If my
I could
electricity's
fall
good.
asleep to any sound. Now, I don't know what happened. I have to go to sleep when it's like quiet.
Mhm.
But if I can, like, if I'm already sleeping, I can sleep through a thunderstorm.
Okay, nice.
I think I was maybe 11 where my mom and our cousin was staying with us. I don't remember why. Anyway, he was staying with us and my mom had bought me a new desk and I was a nice white one. And actually now that cousin's daughter has it in her room. So it was like very sturdy, really good investment piece. They're putting it together in my bedroom. I'm sleeping and they drop the drawer and they were like so convinced it was going to wake me up. I didn't even turn over.
Wow.
I slept through tornadoes, tornado sirens. My mother slept through a hurricane.
Okay.
Yeah. So in my family, the women in sleep were tight.
I've slept through so many earthquakes. Like I was finally awake for a while.
That's a
I was
gentle
like,
rocking.
yes.
It's like a gentle rocking for a bit, depending on how low it is.
It was a little scary. Like I was home with my mother and the banister was shaking and my mom was yelling my name. And I'm like, what did I do? Like,
Okay,
holy
no,
cow.
that's scary. Like if there's a siren or what, I don't remember what the thing is called, but like the override on iPhones where like it'll just blare, like if there's a flash flood warning or there's an Amber Alert or whatever, and it like just breaks through your do not disturb and your I'm sleeping so really don't disturb me settings. Like those always wake me up. There's something about the pitch, I think. So like a fire alarm or something on the phone, those will wake me up. But if it's thunder or like the actual sounds of nature, even if they could be dangerous, I think my body's like, let's just sleep. Doesn't concern me.
Okay, so we talked about your desk, whether you're doing dual monitors or not. We talked about music during writing and everything. I'm assuming all of us are on board with hydration. Like, do you like to schedule to go grab a snack and that's your chance to walk away, or do you like everything with you within arm's reach so you don't have to leave?
Arm's reach. I'll grab everything before I sit down, and then it's here.
And if I gotta pee, I'm fighting through it.
That's the only moment where I'm like, let's push through a little bit more until I finish this, and then I'll go.
My drink is always in arm's reach. The snacks I leave in the kitchen so that I have to get up if I want them, and then if I need to go to the bathroom, unless I'm like literally in the middle of something or the sprint just ended and I didn't take enough time before the sprint ended to go, then I also let having to go to the bathroom be okay. I'm walking a little bit.
I said we were going to be done at 45 after, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so it's time for me to find another timer. I didn't
Yeah.
realize
I thought this was the perfect. I thought this was the segue, and you had one ready to go. So that's
No, but you think so well of me. I love it. All right, I actually have a library of timers.
I don't even remember by the Brooks timers, which is awful because I used to watch her streams all the time, and now my brain can't conjure up a single memory of what her timer was.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I
I'm thinking the
remember
same.
Years
Camille
ago.
Merrick. I think was her name. Camille Merrick. Is that her name?
It rings a bell.
She did NaNoWriMo timers years ago.
You'll say rings the bell, and my mind goes into like different music and stuff. Like,
Oh, those are the ones with my books. Can we do the one from the publisher account where it has?
I can't ever spell it.
You're close. You forgot.
We'll see.
Well,
We'll
you
see.
forgot a syllable, but you'll get. Okay, I, and then the rest of the letter of the word.
Oh,
correct?
N, not N. Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah,
Okay. And one of Zara's came down.
yeah,
There we go. You got typing?
yes.
Perfect. Okay. Final sprint. 3,
All right.
2, 1. I got some writing done.
Nice.
I did some editing.
I went down a rabbit hole.
Was it enlightening or a dark, dark, dark tunnel?
Well, like, I remember Camille's timers, and I was like, I haven't seen a video from her in forever. And so I looked up her channel. She deleted all of her videos. She still has a channel, but all her videos are gone. But she's still on Instagram.
They could be private.
Yeah, they're just not. They're gone for at least the public.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
I just read.
Hey, that's good. I actually need to read too.
Well, what I should have been doing was reading while proofreading, but instead I was just reading like non stuff.
What about you, Hanan? Hananya. Oh God.
It's okay.
All day.
Hananya.
Hananya.
You're good. You're good. I haven't really done much, to be honest. I was checking my messages and then started watching the vlog from one of my friends. So that's what I was doing.
Self-care and being there for friendship.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well, in the spirit of let's try to get off so people can go to the bathroom. Laura, you want to give your outro? You want to go down the circle? Oh, sorry.
Just eating.
I was not looking at the screen when I was like, yeah, Laura, you can do it.
I'm Lord Nettles. I mostly write horror. I have a book called Tiny Shippers. Hi, Roy. Hi. I'm
I
happy.
want to see Roy. I want to see Roy. I miss my baby.
Hidden
Hi.
by the
So cute.
Hello, handsome. Yeah. He's my writing buddy.
Aw,
So cute.
Yeah.
that is very cute.
So
He also looks like he could be Riley's brother, even though they're different breeds.
you are so stinking soft, dude. Oh. Freshly bathed. Yeah. So I will be
Star of the show right now.
on Nia stream next. That's where you can find me next.
Nice. I'm Hananya Leclerc, and yeah, my short story comes out in 2 weeks in the Stitch Run collection, so look out for that. And other than that, I post videos twice a week. I have a podcast. You can find me all around the internet, and I am on productivity stream something, the midnight stream, which is 8 a.m. my time, so it's all good.
I know Laura has an 11 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
one.
Yeah, I don't remember the numbers for the times. Like, I paid attention to the ones that I'm going to be on, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm sleeping.
Productivity playlist and the social playlist are down below. Just click and go.
You'll see us somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm productivity 6 at 11.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll try and be awake for that.
And we're talking in Eastern time for anybody who's
Yeah.
wondering. So.
I live in Eastern time, so for me it's easy.
Same.
Other people have to convert.
Yeah.
Is your outro done? I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah, it's 2 a.m. by the way. It's because it's productivity 7, so it's the one after Laura's that I'm gonna be on. But
Take a nap.
Minor detail.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, sorry, I was done.
Okay. My name is Zara Hoffman. I'm the self-published author of 7 books, but most importantly, I'm the founder of Inimitable Books, LLC, a small publishing company dedicated to uplifting marginalized voices without pigeonholing authors into writing about the trauma of their identities. And our first book comes out October 3rd, and our second title comes out December 5th, and both of them are up for pre-order on inimitablebooksllc.com.
Yep. And I'm surprised you have those dates memorized. I am Natalie Locke. My website is natalielockeBooks.com, where you can go to any of my socials and keep track of when Flash Fiction Live is coming back, how I'm doing with submissions to different contests. I have yet to get paid for my work. That'd be kind of cool if I could at least once. But I keep on submitting, and I get good feedback. And stuff, so you can see that process, as well as when I want to open up and go querying again. or any other query processes that I may endeavor. Because trust me, there's a list.
If you want to sell your audio rights to a short story, the No Sleep podcast pays very nicely.
Ooh.
Like
Okay.
Yeah,
$100,
but
$125.
I don't do horror though.
Okay.
Yeah. I tried to write horror. I wrote some dark stuff, but I wouldn't necessarily call it horror. I don't know. I might have to make you well, not make you. Though I mean I'll
Don't
take hostage.
force me.
All of a sudden Roy goes missing and I'm just like,
Force compel. No, don't even joke about that.
only if I had him. But if anything, I'd be like, no, really, I'm just pet sitting for. Yeah. But yeah, there's one story that I might want your insight on of how close I am. It's actually almost a trilogy. It's what I did for one of the 12-hour live stream that I did with Chandra. So either way, but yeah, that's me. My link is down below. I got all my co-hosts linked down below to their YouTubes. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you be productive for the rest of the day into tomorrow. All right. Thanks everybody. Bye.
Bye.
I swear I'm pressing the button.